My name is Skylar Lewis, and I'm the founder of the Rise Up Kings Experience and the author of the 2-Day CEO book. I'm about to take you behind the scenes of one of the world's most intense experiential events, and I'm going to share with you my life and the transformation that has happened in many men's lives. It's going to be a fun journey. It's going to be wild. I'm going to share my failures, my successes, and I'm going to share my life lessons. It's time to rise up. Can you do some jumping jacks? Release some anger? No? But yeah, a large part of my life was not always this nice. I grew up in a real small town called Hemet. I remember growing up in a 700 square foot house and saying to myself, I have to get out of this. I didn't realize though that had created some insecurity and some self-worth issues. And I struggled to prove myself. I wanted to prove my significance and really build something successful. And I later found out it was because I had something missing inside. I met my wife when I was about 23, she was about 24. And we fell in love, got into a very serious relationship. My immaturity, my inconsistency as a man started showing up. And as we were in a relationship, I ended up cheating on the woman that I cared about the most. Hurt the woman that I truly said that I knew I was going to be with forever and that mattered the most to me. And I betrayed her. And that was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever gone through, is that conversation of sharing that with her. Because initially I wanted to keep it a secret. Let me introduce you. Can I introduce her?
Why not?
Yeah. Jessica, my wife. What a gorgeous queen. It's pretty cool. We're able to actually run events together. One of our wildest dreams that someday we could actually both be impacting people together. And so through our events and through our coaching, we're able to do that. So it's kind of fun. I'm really excited. We actually have a Rise Up Kings event happening right now. We have the guys back in the field over there by the trees, and we're doing some deep work with them. I want these guys to have a transformation, right? And a lot of events that people go to, they have some change. They have some progress that they make. They come back motivated, and then the motivation fades.
Skylar then affirmed that by saying I only missed one detail, which was at the start, and then when I tried to clarify it, you went through a speech saying how important the little details are. You said that little detail, I followed it, and then you denied it. Okay. And that I have a hard time with that because it feels like you're going against what you're teaching us.
Where else has that shown up in your past? He's used to being the CEO of his own company, so he has a hard time with authority. And so when something doesn't line up with authority, he just chooses not to follow them. But it's showing up in his marriage, where he's battling with his wife. It's showing up in a lot of other areas, and it's preventing him from true intimacy and really peace. There's a lot of resistance going on in his life.
I mean, I think everything, to some degree, goes back to mom and dad. So for sure, I could track it back there.
So I would explore that, right? Because I would have you consider that it's probably blocking some stuff, man. It's probably creating some resentment. When you resist something that someone in an authority position says, if you don't agree with it, guess what you start doing? You stop following. You acted the way you acted there. Would you want your kids to do that? Would you want them to stop listening and stop following directions? I think a lot of guys come here, they come closed off and a little disconnected. And so they're able to get out of their head and into their heart, which is where we want them. I didn't want to share that I had cheated on her because there was a risk of losing her if I shared that. And so I think that really helped start the journey of me just being a man of integrity and starting to develop my character, because I realized how weak my character really was. I said I wanted one thing, but then I would do the other. Right? I wanted to work out and be consistent, but I would do other things. I'd eat like crap and I'd be inconsistent. I wanted to show people I love them, and yet I would hurt them. And that was my journey for a lot of my life. I mean, I eventually launched multiple businesses actually, and they became very successful. And through that business journey, the same patterns started showing up. I started focusing more on my business than I did in my family. I had kind of a crazy life. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges. I used to work tremendous hours. I'd be willing to give myself completely to anything. And it's been nice being able to be a little bit more balanced, and having that time away from the office, away from work, allows me to get filled up here so I can go perform at a higher level. And how's it been for you?
I love having you around. all of us admitting what we're weak at and being forced to face flaws in our discipline, whether it's holding up a bag or running through the mud or being able to stay away from distractions and focus on what really matters. Hearing the testimonies of the other men and facing to realize that none of us have it all together, including myself. Inadequacies that I've allowed to seep into my life, the pitfalls that's going to occur if I don't mind them.
And the business was helping to prove my significance, right? Was I willing to give up my business to make my marriage better? And until I got to that place where I was actually willing to do that, if it meant keeping my family, that's when everything started shifting on the family front. They say your pain is your path, your mess is your message. And on this journey, I figured out like there is a path, there is a way. And so I started to dive deep. I explored, I went into some deep self-reflection and personal development and studying the Word and really figuring out what does that process look like. And so my mess became my message.
I love being able to work with you and work alongside you and impact people in our imperfections, right? To be able to be real and be us and not be perfect and still call people to a greater relationship with the Lord is the coolest thing in the world.
We're about to do something that some of these guys think is impossible. However, when we live in the realm of possibility, anything is possible. And so these guys are going to be climbing up this wall, getting every single one of themselves over, including multiple 300-pound guys. And so they have to get very clear on what they're performing and what they're doing. That's the only way they're going to get up this wall. We had a house that I never thought I would have. I had a newborn baby, Brendan. I was happily married. I sat down and I said, is this all there is? Like I had the business, I had the house, I had the cars, I had the family, I had the relationships. Like, is this all there is? And then I remember the term, you're either growing or you're dying. And that's when I realized I had to go on a journey to start to figure out where did this come from. And so I went to my first personal development seminar and started to dive deep. I went on a couple-year journey of self-realization, of getting clear on who I am. So I could be the best man for my wife and my kids. I want to be the man that God's called me to be for them.
We're good. I can't reach it. Come on. Give him the boost.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
Hold on, get up there! Push his foot up!
Step on my hand.
Left foot on his left hand! Left foot, left hand!
Left foot, left
Pull him
hand.
up, boys!
Pull out.
Pull him up, guys! Pull him up! Pull him up!
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, wrap. Hey. We get him up, y'all coming up.
Guess what the winning really is? It's who you become. That's this win, right? On this journey of life, who you're becoming, the people that you're impacting based on who you're becoming. Like that's playing to win. But when we're trying to preserve ourselves, when we're trying to say, hey, I'm going to play not to lose. How do I do enough just so I don't lose? How do I go start a business where I'm safe, right? On Brady's comments. How do I do these? How do I set myself up? And we build our whole lives around us where we're not taking these big risks. Or maybe we even take risks, but they're still within our comfort zone. They're still where we know we could win. It took me years to develop and to start really being a true man of my word. It was the end of 2014. We were finishing some of our financials in December for the year. Jessica walked up to me and said, Skylar, I want to show you something. And she showed me our profit and loss. We had made more money that year than we had made for like 4 years combined. The most money I'd ever made in one single year. I mean, a ridiculous amount. I realized like this work that I've been doing was paying off. I'll tell you a little bit about my morning routine. So I wake up at 4 a.m. each day. I wake up, grab my coffee, I read the Bible, I journal, and I read my goals. I get clear on what the day's outcomes are, and I'm doing this every single day. I'm showing up as a consistent man now for my family, for my business, and I'd say that's a critical piece that's missing from so many people. Life's good right now. We've moved to an incredible place out here in Texas. We have an awesome house, a 16-acre property where we run all of our events. I never imagined I would even be here, and it started with a vision of what I had for my life, and then God's blessing on top of that vision. And so my challenge is, and where I'd love to support people is, hey, let's take a risk. Let's play big. Let's go all out. Let's love with all of our heart. So that's my vision. That's my hope. I want to leave that level of legacy to this world.
It is the best investment I've ever made in my life.
Done with day 3. So we're having dinner right now, a feast celebration to represent these guys really stepping into a new life, the new man that's going to show up in their marriage. And these guys, I mean, their hearts are transformed. What does that mean? It means they're vulnerable. They're open. We've broken the walls down. The most powerful man is the man that has nothing to hide. The man that can just be real and authentic.